So to go ahead and finish up with my progressive conservative, my progressive Republican, progressive Federalist. Progressive Federalist. So you had Taft. I had some notes with Robert Taft and William Taft. I don't know where they went, but Robert Taft was very staunchly against war. The Korean War, I think even World War II. He said the New Deal was a bigger threat to the world than Hitler. So that's Robert Taft, and he was the son of William Howard Taft, and I'd heard he was a super progressive, but he only did like this and that. The big thing that he did that compared to Teddy Roosevelt was that he had twice the amount of trust busts. So he broke up more monopolies, 50 to 20 or something, I don't know. But Teddy Roosevelt hated Taft and hated how Taft did the presidency and how he did his legacy and how he did his follow-up. And that's why he ran, in 1912. So I wasn't impressed with theirs, but actually I was thinking, you know what? Instead of, you can pass a lot of legislation like through a great man, right? You can pick a great man and say, let's get with Abraham Lincoln. You got a whole bunch of things, and it doesn't always have to be a great man, but sometimes a great event or something. So 9/11 not only brought us the Iraq War, but it also brought us Homeland Security and the Patriot Act and some other shit. Was that the bankruptcy bill? I don't know. It might have been the 90s. But Homeland Security, Patriot Act, the Iraq War, that's all synonymous to me because it all came from George W. Bush. But ultimately, the success of the nation isn't about a great man doing this program or that program, but it's about, all the programs working together and the whole thing kind of working in tandem with one another. So instead of looking at the great men and then seeing their accomplishments and seeing if, write their list down and compare and contrast, I went ahead and wrote down the programs that I like and the programs that I have benefited from personally. Now, I currently don't have, I'm not using any fucking program whatsoever, which is, Medicaid. I might have Medicaid, but interstate system, the dollar EBT, Department of Education. I'm not getting a check. I'm not like a Social Security, just a UBI check getter. I'm not just sitting on my ass getting this pension. I'm not just stealing from the working masses, $1,500 just to steal. $1,500 a month. Jesus Christ. Isn't that crazy? Social Security. 1 out of 5 Americans are on Social Security, and they average about $1,500 a month. Motherfuckers are going to sit there and bitch to me about socialism. You guys are the most socialistic motherfuckers ever. And what are they doing with all their socialism? They're conservative fucking people who take Social Security. They like that check. They like that government money. Take that government money and sit right there on that property, right there on that land. The U.S. Food Program, the EBT, it used to be food stamps. It's SNAP, or EBT now. SNAP, 2008, they said it's the SNAP benefits. But that's JFK and LBJ. So let's just use the food program and Social Security as an example. So the food program, you have different presidents, Donald that tried to cut it back, and then Biden who did it to restore it to normal, maybe. I don't know. But you have presidents that essentially like or don't like programs, and they support it or don't support it when their regime comes into. So with the U.S. food program, you may have had some presidents after JFK and LBJ who supported it, but it was them too. JFK, that was his first executive order, campaign pledge to all the poor people. Of course you need food. And then LBJ in 64 said, we got to make this shit permanent. We got to make this shit permanent. And Bob Dole was like, fuck you. So that's the U.S., food program. The Republicans are against it, just like they're against the Department of Education, just like they're against Social Security. Basically anything good, the Republicans are against. Now, Andrew Johnson, well, you know what? If you go back far enough, the Republicans were actually the progressives. So Andrew Johnson was Abraham Lincoln's vice president, also the worst president that America's ever had. But he was, he knew enough to have an office of the education. So not a department yet. It's just an office. But eventually it's going to become a department of education. The Office of Education will become a Department of Education. But Andrew Johnson knew enough to at least have an Office of Education. Social Security, that's FDR. So what I'm trying to say is I'm going to go through these programs. Here's all the programs that I like. And then I'm going to give 1 or 2 or 3 points to the ones that founded the program. And I don't just like the programs that benefited me directly. There's a lot of things that I like that I don't get, direct benefit from. So segregation was ended. I'm happy about that. Slavery was ended. That's, I'm happy about that. A lot of fucking racists in America, even still today, which is so fucking gross, right? Don't hate based on race or sex. Don't discriminate. Like, I don't. Department of Education, EBT, Medicaid, interstate system, the dollar, ending slavery, ending segregation, ending the Vietnam War, the Homestead Act, the Marine Corps, the Wagner Act, the NASA program, Head Start, Job Corps, I don't know, Social Security. So there you go. Those are all the programs I've looked throughout all American history. It's actually kind of pathetic that there's only this amount of programs. But Social Security, I support Social Security. I just hate the hypocrisy of them sons of bitches. How many Republican conservative fucks are going to vote for Trump when he's the one trying to fucking take Social Security away from the rest of us? So they sit on their fucking fat asses and fuck us over. They fuck the rest of us over. That's bullshit. The only thing I'll say about that is the old people vote. Old people vote. Young people don't vote. So you get the government that, you vote for. So the old people are getting benefits because they're voting. So it's working. So what, let's see, U.S. dollar is Abraham Lincoln, Medicaid is LBJ, EBT, that's FDR, LBJ, Medicare, Medicaid was passed same time, so that's both. LBJ, interstate system is Eisenhower, Department of Education, that's, we got to give it to Andrew Johnson, right? Or no, it's not a department, it's an office. Jimmy Carter's going to make it by executive order. Jimmy Carter, 1 year, he's like, shit, I didn't get shit done. And his budget, February 8th, 1982, Ronald Reagan said he was against it. Or he says he was for it, but then he was against it. He said let it be after the Nation in Peril report came out. So Ronald Reagan was opposed to what Jimmy Carter did because, that's what Republicans do. But then they're like, oh, shit, our nation is dumb as fuck. Okay, we might need a Department of Education. Now, I benefited from this because I was able to get a college loan. So I was able to go to college because of it, but it's shackled me to a fucking ridiculous goddamn debt. So it sort of helped. And, I was able to go to college, but college ain't what it used to be. I'm happy that I went to college, so I got to see what college is about. And, I got some benefits from Xavier University and University of Louisville, so thank you to those universities. But Spalding University out of Louisville, Kentucky, they're a bunch of piles of shit, motherfucker. Religious, theocratic, fucking right-wing authoritarian. There needs to be some way to adjudicate that type of shit. Okay, I borrowed that money to get to school, but they fucked up. They breached a contract on their end. They didn't do what they said they were going to fucking do. That you could have gave me $50,000 and I would have done better than, sitting around and listening to a bunch of old curmudgeon fucking white fucking female dickheads, explain how their PowerPoint is so fucking important and so awesome and then oppressing the shit out of us. Not caring about who we are or what we're doing or, developing our spirituality, but killing our souls or, mind in there. So, who wins? Truman. He stopped the Nazis. FDR got the Wagner Act, passed. He also stopped the Nazis. George Washington, John Adams, all the founders. They got the post office and the Marines and the Constitution, the 3 branches of government, Bill of Rights. There's 5 points. Obama did the direct loan reform. We'll give him a point for that. Nixon, ended the draft in 73. He also got NASA up and running. That's both Eisenhower and Nixon in 58. And then he got us off the gold standard, which helps us with the dollar. So there's 3 points for Nixon. Eisenhower gave us NASA, integration, a lot of things. The Little Rock 9, he did a lot of things with integration. Eisenhower is actually the interstate system, just those 3 things. NASA, interstate system, integration. We were able to land, put a person on the moon. Why? Eisenhower. We can drive, from Route 66. We could drive from New York to California in 2 or 3 days. Why? Eisenhower. And it's a military thing, but it's kind of a... Okay, so... And being over in Europe, he saw all that type of shit. How, a fucking roadway. Like, there's so many disjointed roads in Europe. So he's like, damn, if we had fucking awesome roads, you realize how efficient we would be militarily if we had to get our... Lincoln ended slavery, ended the Confederacy. I give him 2 points for that. The Homestead Act, 160 acres. My God. Helped like 1.2 million people. and 160 acres. So that's a massive redistribution of wealth. That's land. That's revolutionary. Malcolm X says all revolutions is about land. It also is helping the peasant. There was corruption, remember, that was for the small man, the little farmer. As long as he took care of the farm for 5 years, put the application in, his 160 acres was his, and that's Wyoming, Colorado, let's see, Montana, Idaho. Lincoln's the one that started the U.S. dollar. You like this system? You like it making money in the dollar and all that? Thank Abraham Lincoln. Ford ended the Vietnam War. LBJ gets 4 points with the college loan program. Medicare and Medicaid ended segregation and the food program. JFK gets a point for the food program, and Jimmy Carter gets a point for the Department of Education. So who wins? George Washington and John Adams, motherfuckers, the founders. They gave us the post office. It's in the Constitution. The Marines, that was it right there in the beginning when they were like, let's start a revolutionary fucking government up and let's write a Constitution, 3 branches, and the Bill of Rights. My God, the fucking founders, they're such a revolutionary generation in spite of their fucking slaves, in spite of their fucking failings, and basically being a bunch of elitists, sons of bitches who are against the working masses. But their generation is compare and contrast to the rest of them. Only LBJ is second place. Only LBJ is second place. And, ending segregation. So with the big, thing, you can have a lot of other things, right? So with the ending segregation came the college loan program, food program, Medicare, Medicaid. So good on LBJ, but he didn't get us a brand new constitution, 3 branches of government, the Bill of Rights. You're telling me that the shit that they wrote up in 1700s is good enough for today? We can improve on that, instead of having we could do the amendments, have extra amendments or whatever, but let's have nice, little Bill of Rights. Let's go ahead and summarize this shit. Let's go ahead and write this thing up easier so we can understand it. And there's Supreme Court decisions and shit. There's still like slavery clauses in it. It's a clunky ass, thing. So how about that? Just update the damn Constitution, cut out the fugitive slave clause and the 3/5 clause. Yeah, go ahead and cut out that racist shit, because that's clearly a bunch of slave owners, wrote a constitution for white people. So it's fucking white supremacist constitution. But it's a contract with the government between the people. Before that, it was kings and queens. So fuck the royalists, fuck the monarchy. The French Revolution is going to chop the goddamn king and queen's heads off. So we were able to do that without having to do all that. But that's the reason why, because it makes sense. Constitution, 3 branches of government, elections, democracy, Bill of Rights. This shit makes sense. That shit makes sense. And we should have been improving on these things every goddamn year, improving our electoral systems, our democratic republic. Yeah, you call yourselves Republicans. You really give a fuck about the republic? You know the father of the Republican Party is? Yeah, imperialism is the opposite of being for the republic. I'm a Republican in a sense because I'm against imperialism. I'm Republican in a sense because I'm against monarchy and royalism and imperialism. So... But I'm an actual Republican, a person, small R Republican, because I actually believe in the Republic, the nation state. We did have a brand new fucking thing, and we're going to blow it. America's going down, and we're not taking this shit serious. Why does Jordan Peterson cry? Because he sees Western civilization crumbling and going down, and what happens if... just come up with the craziest crisis. A sniffle. COVID almost fucking crushed us. What if it was airborne AIDS? What if it was airborne goddamn AIDS? That would have crushed us. What if it was fucking Nazis invading? What if it's Russia invading? What if it's North Korea invading? Are we ready? Are we going to, get our shit together and be on the same board? Or is half of us going to be like, we're all on the same, all hail fucking Kim Jong-un? Is that where this is going to go? So, who are progressives? Well, you have to give it to LBJ, but he's a Democrat, right? So we're looking for conservative progressives. Eisenhower's an interesting conservative progressive. Progressive Republican, NASA integration, interstate system. Nixon, already talked about him. Obama. George Washington, John Adams, they're, progressive Federalist. The Marines, we've had all that, basically Army, Navy, Marines. We've had all the, the 3 post offices. Constitution, 3 branches of government, Bill of Rights. We've had elections. They did a pretty good fucking job, but they settled it all. They settled all the questions, all the... well, they figured it all out. No, they have not. But that was a good beginning. That was a good start. Kind of fucking blowing it, aren't we? Ford ended the Vietnam War, but he didn't do anything else with that. And then that's it. The rest of the progressives are fucking Democrats, right? Truman stopping Nazis, FDR, Wagner Act for the Union, stopping Nazis. And then you got Obama, direct loan reform. Then you have Jimmy Carter, JFK, and LBJ. So those are the only great presidents. The rest of the fucking presidents can fucking, lick my asshole. Go to hell, you sons of bitches. Worthless motherfuckers. What was the point? You were the president of the United States of America. And you didn't get universal basic income. Did you even introduce it? Did you even try to? There is a guy, a governor of Kentucky. He was like the blackboard governor. He's actually really good. Like, his personality is really fucking awesome. Because he took the legislature by the scruff of the neck. They called him the blackboard governor because he would take the legislature down to the basement and then just kind of explain how he understands, the system, where we're at, where we're going, what we're going to do. Writing on the blackboard. So he was just explaining to the legislature what he wanted, and by, being so articulate and clearly explaining, I bet he was able to win a lot of people over, but also by grabbing the legislature and be like, all right, sit down, like you're my class. I think that's better than whatever this disjointed dysfunction, this divided snakes of embarrassment bullshit we got now. So there you go. That's going to end my progressive Republican series. This paves the road for any Republican that wants to be, there was I'll just end it off on this. I remember on the Nader campaign, somebody had just, kind of blew my mind because, essentially, the Republicans suck. They're the enemies. They're terrible. And being on the Nader campaign, we're on the third party. So, basically both Democrats and Republicans are your opponents. You might feel more Democratic, more affinity than the, one side than the other. You would think that the Democrats would be more liberal, progressive, more for the working class than the Republicans. But you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. And they're the founders of they're both elitist. They're both imperialist, capitalist. And they've, almost destroyed this nation. So thank goodness for the independence. Anyways, I'm on the Nader campaign, and it pissed me off when one of the motherfuckers just said, vote for the Republican. And that blew my mind because it was like, I felt like I was pretty fucking radical. And, voting is just kind of a small little thing, small little gesture, small little power. But it's, sometimes you can use a small little power to achieve great things. But just the idea of what? I mean, it's either the Green or the Democrats, but vote Republican. What the fuck did you just say? What the fuck did you just say? When it came to Hillary and Obama, I liked Obama better, but I liked Hillary's rhetoric against the Republican Party. Fucking dark Brandon right now is, talking shit about the Republicans. And I think that's important because the fucking war and a lot of shit that they did. So fuck the Republicans. There's no doubt about it. But I grew up as a young Republican. I voted. George W. Bush was my first vote in 2000. And then since then, I've been a Green. Basically as soon as I became an adult and started thinking for myself, I just been, whatever Green Party, whatever that progressive, libertarian, socialist, that quadrant, whatever that quadrant you want to call that, because it's, it's not left or right. It's up, down, left or right. You got 4 quadrants. But because I was so radical and all he said was just vote for the Republicans and it pissed me off, I'm like, well, shit, that might actually work. That might actually work. Vote for the fucking Republicans. Democrats ain't delivering. Democrats give you $10,000 and they're not giving you fucking health care. They're not giving you education. If anything, the damn Democrats are not for the working class anymore. Joe Biden's for the right wing. He's, Joe Biden is a great conservative. He's, with a nice, steady, conservative hand. He's, every once in a while, passed a little bill here, passed a little bill there, kept punting the damn thing. Just as long as America stayed afloat, that's all he cared. As long as America barely stayed afloat, he didn't give a damn. He wasn't trying to, he was a Calvin Coolidge. He's not trying to, he's not trying to be great. He didn't care about his legacy. He didn't care about America being great. He's not trying to make America great. He's a conservative. So just like Obama, just like, you could say Clinton and fucking Bush, they all did it right. Just like Ronald Reagan. A bunch of right-wing, conservative, capitalist imperialists. Steered the ship, basically maintained all the same shit we were doing from before. Nothing really fundamentally changed. So you're going to vote for Eisenhower and Nixon over Hubert Humphrey? You know what? That makes sense. Hubert Humphrey's a fucking douchebag. Now, RFK, if you would have voted for Nixon over RFK, then you'd have some issues. But I think we should consider that just as easy as we could have conservative Democrats, we could have progressive Republicans. And we only got a two-party system. So to totally keep one political party completely out of... I gave the Democrats a chance. I'm still going to give them a chance, I think, for the rest of the year. I got to write a letter to Jared Polis. Jared Polis is like my last Democrat threshold. I've been a Green, like I said, my entire adult life. Ever soon as I've been able to think, I've just been a Green. But I never gave the Democrats a total chance, growing up Republican. So I gave the Democrats in Costilla and Conejos. Asked the Democrats and the Republicans in Conejos County and Costilla County in Colorado. I gave the Democratic Party a chance, and there was no fucking point. There was no reason to be a Democrat, around Conejos County or Costilla County. The Democrats of Conejos County and Costilla County, they're defunct, stagnant, right-wing, conservative, elitist, Joe Bidenist. They're trying to fuck over Bernie Sanders. They don't want change. They want to maintain everything, keep the status quo. They care about themselves. They don't care about the community. They're not trying to make the world a better place. And that sucks. Because Jill Stein was right. You can't have a revolutionary movement in an anti-revolutionary party. And the party of the KKK, I guess, big shocker, huh? The party of the KKK isn't the alternative oppositional party that I was looking for the Republican Party. And it also makes me even more sadder because I'm going to have to give the Republicans a chance. And it's like, ugh. And I gave I was only going to give them 3 years. It's going on fucking 4 years now. So I've given the... you know why we got SNAP, the food program, Kraft, Pepsi, Coke, and Kroger? So when people say, I don't like people using food stamps to buy Pepsi and Coke. Pepsi and Coke actually lobbied so the American people can have... They're trying to make a profit, but they, the American people eat. Food, water, clothing, shelter. These are Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, so... Congratulations to the Progressive Federalists, George Washington and John Adams. And LBJ, you're almost where as progressive as the founding generation. And to the rest of America, what? George Washington had all them slaves. We haven't got... How the fuck his 5 accomplishments still rings progressive and great today? And we're not going to improve or make those things better or come up with anything better. They did it all. That's good enough for me.